All right, now that we've learned a little bit about color, we're going to use our color worksheet. We're going to split up our color into different categories. So this is the worksheet we're going to be using, and we're going to learn our different complementary colors, our primary colors, our secondary colors, which ones are our warm colors and our cool colors, and then a set of monochromatic colors. We are also going to fill in this complete color wheel, and we are only going to use our 3 primary colors to do this. And our 3 primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Make sure you have blue and not purple, because sometimes they're really close to each other, how they look, and just read what it says. It says blue. So I'm going to take these 3 colors and I'm going to start off with my red, and I'm going to fill in where it says primary colors, and I'm going to fill in one of these boxes. So you want to go all the way around the edges like this, because we want to do an inside outline and color all one way. Okay, so that's one of my primary colors, and I'm also going to add my red to my color wheel. Then I'm going to switch over to my yellow. I'm going to color in my yellow. Then I'm going to move over to my color wheel, and I'm going to skip 3 spaces and color in the 4th space. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to color in this 4th space, also yellow. Then I'm going to move over to my blue, and I'm going to color in my last primary color. Then I'm going to go over to my color wheel, and I'm going to skip 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to color in my 4th one. Great. Now that my primary colors are done, I'm going to move on to my secondary colors. Now, secondary colors are in between your primary. So like I have red and blue, and my purple is in between, red and yellow, and my orange is in between, and yellow and blue, and my green is in between. So it's halfway in between all of these. So to do this, you're going to layer your colors. So we're going to start off with our red, and we're going to make orange first. So I'm going to color in this secondary color block. Now, I'm not going to color super, super dark, just nice and easy. And then I'm going to layer on top of that with my yellow. Now, yellow is a lighter color, so I have to push a little bit harder because I want it to be a tad bit darker. Go around my edges. And there's my orange that I made. And I'm going to do the same thing on my color wheel. I'm going to come over here, and I have yellow and I have red. And I'm going to start off again with my red, and I'm going to color in the one right in between the two. Not hard, just nice and easy. And I'm going to take my yellow, I'm going to color right on top of that red. And I have my orange. Now, in between my red and my orange and my yellow, I have what are called tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are more of one primary than the other. So for example, when I have red and orange, in between is red-orange. Because red is listed first, I need more red than I need yellow because it's further away from the yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red and I'm going to lightly color it in, just like I did with my orange. Now this time I'm going to color on top of it with my yellow, but not quite as dark as I did earlier with my orange. So it looks pretty similar, but then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back one more time with my red and make it look more red than orange, and it becomes a red-orange. Then I'm going to move down, and I'm going to repeat the same process for my yellow-orange. And because it's closer to yellow, I'm going to start off with my yellow. I'm going to lightly color this in. Then when I add my red, it's a little tricky because you have to push really lightly with red because red is a stronger color. And I'm going to go ahead and fill this in really lightly. And I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to push on top of this again. So it's more yellow than it is orange. So now I have my whole set. I have red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange, and yellow. Now I'm going to move on to, let's do green. So I'm going to start off with my yellow and I'm going to color it in, not super dark. I'm going to go back on top of that with my blue. Now, I'm not coloring really dark with my blue either. Green's a little tricky to get. And this one, I had to color in one more time with my yellow. Now, that's a little bit too yellow for me, so I'm going to go back on top again with my blue. And you just kind of have to weigh how it looks by your eyes. And if you're unsure whether it looks correct or not, pick it up and you want to hold it, a good arm's length away from where you are. All right. Then I'm going to move over and I'm going to do the same thing on my color wheel. Again, I'm going to start with my yellow and I'm going to go right in between my yellow and my blue. I'm going to color this in. And then very lightly layer on top of it with my blue. And one more time with my yellow. No, it's a little bit still too yellow for me, so I'm going to go back on top one more time with blue. Like I said, green is one of the trickier colors to make with colored pencils. Okay. Then I'm going to move over and I'm going to do my yellow-green, and it's the same process like when we did our oranges. So because yellow-green requires more yellow, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to color it pretty good with the yellow. Color it very lightly with my blue. And maybe one more time with my yellow. And then I'm going to do the same process over here for my blue-green. It's closer to blue, so I need more blue. So I'm still going to lightly color it with yellow. I'm going to color it with blue. Again, still pretty light. And then one more time with my yellow. Now, if your colors begin to look way too similar, you just add more of whatever it's closest to. So like this one is closer to blue, so I'd add more blue. And you're going to do this process, the same process again for our purple. So I'm going to start off with my red. I'm going to color in my red. I'm going to layer on top of it with my blue. My red again if I need. A little bit more blue. And then I'm going to move over to my color wheel and I'm going to repeat the same thing. All right, now my color wheel is done and my primary and secondary colors are done. And now we're going to move on to our complementary colors. We're going to focus on our main ones that deal with our primary and secondary colors. So if you're looking at a color wheel, complementary colors, are across from each other on the color wheel. So purple and yellow, that is a set of complementary colors. And then you have orange and blue, that's another set. And then you have red and green, and that's another set of colors. You can also eventually have like blue, violet, and yellow, orange. You can deal with your tertiary colors, but for our purpose, we're gonna deal with our primary and secondary matches, okay? So you're gonna come down here, and we're gonna start off, I'm gonna just use red. And my first one's gonna be filled in with red. And then red's complement is green. So I can't just grab my green because we're only using our 3 primary colors. So I have to make green again. So I'm gonna go back with my yellow and then layer it with blue and then yellow again and make my green. Great. Now I already have yellow in my hand, so I'm gonna move on to yellow. I'm gonna color in my first one in yellow. Now yellow's complement, what's across from it, is purple. So once I fill this in with yellow, I'm gonna go ahead and grab blue or red, it doesn't matter which one you choose first. And you're gonna color in your little box and you're gonna layer your colors to make purple. And then our last set of complementary colors, we're gonna start with blue, color in our box blue. And if you go across the color wheel with blue, it's going to give you orange. So we're gonna fill in our other box and we're gonna make our orange. I'm gonna start off with yellow, add a little bit of red, and then layer it again with yellow. Okay, so we are now done with our complementary colors and we're gonna move on to our warm and our cool colors. So when you think about warm and cool colors, it's just like you would think normally, like, ooh, I'm so warm, and you're sitting next to a fire. Fire is gonna remind you of red and orange and yellow, so that's what we're gonna put here. And then cool reminds you of things that are cold, like ice and water, so we're gonna deal with green, blue, and purple over on the cool side. So let's start off with the warm side. I'm gonna go with red, orange, and yellow. And so I'm gonna go ahead and color in my yellow. And I'm gonna color in what's gonna be my orange also, just because I already know I have to use yellow. I'm coloring this bottom one pretty dark. And this one just normal. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my red and color in the top pretty dark. And then I'm gonna layer in a lighter red right here to make my orange. Now our cool colors are a little bit different because they're gonna have lots of mixed of colors. So I'm gonna start off with my blue in the middle. Now I'm doing blue in the middle because I had to make green and purple, and blue is a component of both. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this one in, blue, and then up here I'm gonna color it lightly to add my purple. And I'm not gonna color in the bottom one yet because that's gonna be my green and it uses more yellow than blue. So I'm gonna take my red, and then on the bottom, I'm going to turn that into a green. So I'm gonna layer it with yellow. And then a blue. All right. And then last, we're gonna move down over to monochromatic. So monochromatic just means one color and not all of its shades. So we're using color pencil, so it's a little tricky to get the shades in there, but we're gonna use pencil with ours, color pencils. So I'm gonna use blue because blue is one of the easiest ones. I'm gonna really lightly color my first block as if I were to have added white to it, and it just makes it a lighter color, okay? Because when you make things for monochromatic, you're only adding black or white to your color. So then I'm gonna come in the middle, I'm gonna color this one darker. And then I'm gonna color my last one just as dark, actually. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm gonna color on top of this last block so it looks like I added a bit of black to it. And I can have different shades of the same color. And if that's too dark for you, you can just go right back on top of it one more time with blue. And there's your monochromatic. And that's the end of our worksheet. If you want to, you can color your little guy and his hair, you can color your color, but this is the main focus of what we were doing. So I hope you learned something today. Mixing colors isn't hard, it's just kind of scary when you begin. But once you figure it out, it's pretty simple. So anytime you ever just have the 3 primary colors, you can always make all of the colors of the color wheel.